Hello, and welcome to today's 11 plus exam prep lesson. Thinking first of some of our key terms that we need for rotations and reflections. Many non-verbal reasoning questions need us to identify elements that have been rotated / reflected. So an element is a part of an image or part of a set of shapes. And in this example, each fruit, so the apple, the pear, and the banana, counts as an element of this image. So we say a shape has been rotated when all of its elements have been turned a certain number of degrees in a specific direction. And that direction can either be clockwise, so following the numbers of a clock, or anti-clockwise, so in the other direction. So in this example on the left, everything has been rotated this way, so 90 degrees anti-clockwise, whereas in this shape, the apple has not been rotated. So one of the elements has not been rotated. So that is an incorrect rotation. So that's our first key term, element. Our next key term is proportions. So the sizes and lengths of a shape make up its proportions. And when a shape is rotated or reflected, its proportions will always stay the same. So in all of these shapes, the proportions are the same, even though they're facing different ways and they've been enlarged. So thinking first about our method for rotation questions. Number one, first thing we need to do is read the question carefully. How many degrees do we need to rotate something? Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? We need to read the question carefully. Next, we need to identify elements of the main shape. So if we're thinking about the fruit example, that would be all the different fruits. But if it's a set of shapes, we want to think about the colors, the shapes, the numbers of shapes, the patterns, and the positioning. Once we've identified all the elements of the main shape, we can then eliminate anything that's obviously wrong. So any answers that have missing elements or just the wrong element. Finally, we need to sort of visualize and imagine rotating the main shape and then comparing this to our remaining answer options. So here is our foolproof method for tackling rotation questions. Okay, so in rotation questions, the main shape may have been rotated clockwise or anti-clockwise by any number of degrees. So in this example here, we've got a 90 degree anti-clockwise rotation at the top, then 45 clockwise, and then 180 at the very bottom. So a little top tip for you, you need to watch out for stripes. Remember that the stripes must rotate the same amount as the outline of the shape. So focus on the arrow and that will help guide you. Okay. And here is an example of what a rotation question will look like. So let's apply the steps. So we need to first off read the question correctly. So which option is a 90 degree clockwise rotation of the main shape? Then need to identify the elements of the main shape. So there are two elements here. There's a purple diamond and the black line. The black line is made up of a right angle and then a sort of Z shape. And then the diamond is positioned at the end of the zigzag bit. We've identified the elements. Our next step is to eliminate any answers that are obviously wrong. So if we have a little look, we can get rid of D and E because E is missing a right angle. So if we look here, it's a obtuse angle rather than coming all the way along here and then down. And then in D, the diamond is in the wrong position. So we can instantly rule out D and E. Next, we need to sort of imagine rotating the main shape 90 degrees clockwise. And then we compare this to our remaining answer options. If we look at A, we can see that it's an 180 degree rotation, so it's wrong. And then if we look at C, we can see it's a 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation, so it's also wrong. this means that our answer must be B. And there it is. So we have our main shape / image on the left there, the big olives. Can you find the shape which is a 90-degree anti-clockwise rotation of the main shape? And here are our results. The most popular answer was E, with just over half of the vote. Let's take a little look. And E is absolutely right. Well done. So let's go through our answer options one by one. So starting off with A is incorrect because it's a 90 degrees clockwise rotation, whereas in our question, we are looking for an anti-clockwise rotation. So it's gone this way, which is the wrong way. Then if we look at B, this is actually a horizontal reflection rather than a rotation. So it's been flipped along, let's say there's a line here, dot, 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 and it's been rotated along that line, sorry, reflected along that line or that axis rather than rotated. C is incorrect because there is a missing leaf, which should be over here. And then finally, D is a reflection, but along the vertical axis, so along a mirror line here, which is why it's incorrect. That leaves us with E, which is our lovely little 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation. Okay, our final question, let's take a look. And that is exactly right, well done. You did not fall for some of the sneaky red herrings. A and B can be ruled out. They have not been rotated 180 degrees. They've only been rotated 90. Then if we look at E and C, the shape is vaguely similar. However, if you look closely, they both have the striped circle on the wrong side of the shape. This is either because the entire shape's been reflected, like in C, or if in E, not all of the shapes have been properly rotated. So here is what our rotation looks like.